Hello, my name's Julienne, and I'm currently studying at Southern New Hampshire University's through Kepler program. So I'm going to give a short presentation about how you can be an effective manager. So the presentation will be about the functions and the styles of management that a manager can use so that he can be successful. Throughout the presentation, I will first introduce what management is and also talk about the five major functions of management, which is planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling. I also talk about the main three styles of management, which is directing, delegating, uh, and discussing. Starting by the introduction, management is the act of taking responsibilities of human talent and resources with the organization in order to accomplish the desired goals and objectives. Starting by the first function of management, we start by planning. Planning can be defined as the process of maintaining and organizing required activities in a given organization operation. It can also be defined as to decide what's needed to be done in the future. Some example that I can give on this function suppose that Spokes of Hope worldwide organization is planning to have maybe a happy hours with the with the workers. So the manager will need to make a plan of that fixed day, what the where that happy hours will take place, the purpose of the event, the location, as well as the people to be involved in that activity. The manager will also make a list, will be required to make a list of all the resources and expenses that will be needed during the event. Coming on the second function, which is organizing, it can be defined as the pattern relationships among workers and resources required to carry out a plan. It also refers to a set of formal tasks assigned to individuals and departments. Trying to give the example of this function, suppose that maybe employees in a given company they were selected to work to be hired, and the manager will be in charge of distributing them in different hierarchy, in different levels of department, and after that he or she will distribute them resources needed for their daily tasks. What they will need, what those employees will need to use so that they can accomplish their daily activities. On the coming on the third function, which is staffing, I can define it as the process of making jobs analysis, also recruitment and hiring of people within necessary skills, people who have necessary skills for the appropriate job. You are trying to give the example. Let me use the same organization, which is Spokes of Hope Worldwide. Suppose that Spokes of Hope Worldwide needs to hire new employees. So the human resource manager of this organization will set the criteria to follow in order to select qualified employee, in order to know the employee who has the required skills for the available job. And also the manager can prepare trainings for the employees if necessary. Maybe this world is full of changes, and the technology is improving most of the time often. So the manager will need maybe to prepare trainings for the employees so that they can adapt to the situation, the current situation. Coming on the last function, which is leading, I can define it as the way of determining what needs to be done in a given situation and the people in charge of doing that. It also refers to the approach of providing directions, implementing plans, and motivating people. It can also be defined uh, the the leadership, communication, and supervision that employees can perform in a proper manner. Trying to give out an example of this function, If the clients of spokes of Hope Worldwide are complaining maybe that their services and products are not good, then the manager is in charge to see why are these customers complaining, what's the cause, why why are they saying that our services or products they are not satisfying them. So the manager will need to approach the employees in those departments, which is production department and customer service department, and have to talk with them, have a meeting with them, and then they 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 try to find out the main cause of this. uh, the last, which is controlling, I can say that it is the way of checking the current output and against for forecasting plans, and make adjustment if necessary in order to achieve the goals. It can also be the process of measuring and directing the actual performance against the planned goals of the organization or the company. If I try to give an example on this function, I can say maybe the manager of the spokes of Hope Worldwide, we need to check if the resources are variable, um, and and if the employees are meeting the expectation of the organization. He or she may monitor the performance of the workers. Then after that, the manager can predict the output of the future. Uh, Here, the manager will predict what will be in the future depending on how he or she is seeing the performance of the employees. Uh, Next part, we are going to talk about the styles of management that can help a manager to be more effective. The first style is directing. Directing is the management style that helps employees to listen and clearly understand the directions provided to them. Here, the manager just gives the directions to the employees and makes sure that they understand everything. Um, uh, Communication that is used in this style, the manager can use verbal or non-verbal messages to communicate. He can either decide to inform the employees via email, or meet with them and tell them the directions that they will follow while doing the task. Some of the strength and weakness of this style is, starting by the strength, there is quick decision making. Since it's taken by the manager, doesn't need to go and talk with different employees to see what should be done. He's the one to make the decision, so the decision is quickly made. And also it leads to motivation for a short period of time. If the manager gives just the employees the directions to follow, this will motivate the employees. They will know that, wow, we can make it, so they will be motivated of doing that. So it makes the employees to understand clearly their duties. So if the manager gives them the directions, they will be able to understand what they have to do. Coming on the weakness, it's not developmental, because you just give the directions and they go. Another weakness of this style is there is a risk of having poor, because the manager has just given the directions to the employees to work on a given task. He doesn't know if they have the required skills, so sometimes they can deliver a poor work. A poor relationship between staff and workers. Here, the relationship between the employers and the employees doesn't become, it's not good, because the manager is there just to give the directions and just go, doesn't give the freedom for the employees to ask more clarifying questions or to discuss with him or her about the given task. The scenario that matches with this directing style, it's maybe suppose that trust industry, which manufactures various types of papers, detergents, and bar soaps. The human resources of this industry has realized that most of the employees in the communication, finance, and production department are quitting without notification. So the HR manager made a decision to meet with manager of all those departments. During the meeting, each manager Country manager was directed to find out the main causes of that. Why are those employees quitting without a notification? After that, they were given deadline to work on those directions given to them. This will help the manager, the human resource manager, to know the issue and after that may try to solve that issue. The second style of management is delegating. Delegating Delegating is the style that the managers use while assigning tasks to employees to work on. This can be done either individually or in groups. The manager can just decide to delegate a task either to one employee or to a group of employees. This style helps workers to promote learning through empowerment, which leads them to become independent. When the manager just gives some employees to work on a given task, this just they feel they are empowered, and this promotes their learnings and they gain more skills about why doing the task. The manager also, when they have delegated the task, they just to praise, and they give rewards to employees who have met the deadline and they have worked well independently, and this encourages them to keep up and motivate the rest of the same of some employees who didn't manage to work independently and they didn't manage to meet the deadline. And also, I can say that this type of style managing, it deals with empowering workers, as I said. Uh, the second style, it also has some weaknesses and strength. Starting by the strength, it improves time management. You see, when you are a manager, you have a lot to do. Sometimes when you delegate a task, you save time because you are not working on that task. You gave it to someone, so you will work on your urgent tasks, so which saves their time. This increased trust within the organization, because if the manager has just given a task to the employees, it means that he or she trusts them, knows that they are able to do that. It also empowers employees, as I said. When you just give someone a task to do, he feels more empowered. He feels, wow, I know this. So this manager has trusted me. So he feels that he's given power, authority to work on that. It also helps employees to improve their skills. When you are just given a task that is not part of your responsibilities, you learn more things from that and you gain more skills and experience as well. Coming on the weakness of this management style, it may lead to poor results. As I said, maybe the manager can delegate a task to an employee who don't have the skills, and from that time, the output won't be good, because the person doesn't have the skills, doesn't have the experience, so the outcome might not be well. There is lack of commitment. Sometimes the employees may feel not motivated to do that, so we find that some of them, they're not interested in doing that, and if the delegation was given to a group of people, some may ignore and just leave it for some, and they don't concentrate. And then it's also lack of motivation. There is also under this style, there can occur also some conflicts, because if you're working in a team where if you're working in a team, one might bring an idea and another one ignores it, so that one can bring misunderstandings between people. About the scenario of this at this time, maybe let's say that Kepa University program is planning to have partnership with Southern New Hampshire University. So the purpose of this is to help young generation to acquire skills and knowledge. So since Southern New Hampshire University works with cross-cultural people, the manager of Kepa program decided to delegate a task of creating handouts to a group of employees. So this handout will be used to train workers on how to work with people all over the world. This will result to successful partnership between Kepa University program and Southern New Hampshire. Coming on the third style, which is discussing. Uh, these time managers use it to the managers use it so that they can interact with employees, where they have just sit together and then they have discussion, they interact for different things or issues that are being faced in the organization. Discussing style can promote learning through interaction. When you're interacting with someone, you learn a lot. You get ideas from someone, and you also get experience on how you interact with different people, how you can talk to them, the appropriate way of talking to the people. The managers also use this style to ask employees different questions or issues that are being faced in the organization so that they can be solved. Discussion also make people to gain critical thinking skills, because as I said, if the manager is just sitting with the employees, they have to discuss a lot, that a lot of things that occur in their organization. So people, they will have to think critically so that they can see what the problem is and what should be done to solve that problem. Coming on the weakness and strengths of this time which is discussing, some of the strength, there is a result of effective decision, because people, they were able to share different ideas, different opinions. The manager is not the only person to take a decision. The employees, they were also given freedom to participate in decision making. So since the decision was made by a large number of people, I don't think this decision can be a wrong decision. That's why it makes it effective, because it's an idea from different peoples. There is also an increase in friendship. If the manager just sit with the employees and just they have discussion, the employees feel free, they are open to their managers, and this results to strong friendship, and they work together and they live in harmony. This also rebuilds trust between the managers and the employees, because if they were just discussing and everybody is open to say what he or she thinks that can help the company to develop, this increases the trust among the employers and employees. Coming on the part of the weakness, it delays decision, even though the decision is effective, but time wasted. It's time wasted because you spend a lot of time, because you want everyone, because everyone is free to share and to give out his or her opinion. So you find that you can spend a lot of time while trying to find a decision. It may also cause conflicts among people, because someone might raise his or her opinion, and some employees might be ignorant, and I mean might be arrogant and try to ignore someone's idea. So this causes misunderstandings between the people. The scenario about this style of management, I can say that in Nyanja industry, I can use this style which says, I can use this scenario which says that Nyanja industry produces various kinds of drinks and supplies them to the local market. So most of their loyal clients are claiming that products are not of good quality. The manager in production department decided to meet with the employees who work in that department to find out what should be done in order to have products of good quality. What they have to do to avoid those complaints that are coming from their clients. So every worker was free to give out his or her opinion about the changes that can be made, so that they can avoid those complaints from their clients. As I conclude, I can say that effective manager has to have management skills and know all its functions, as well as the appropriate management style to use in a given situation. Therefore, good management results the development of the organization, or the company, or the person, as well as the society in general. So thank you very much. That's all I had for you.